Hello, everyone. How are you all doing today? My name is Carlos Ranchetti, your host for the evening, and this is another episode of the Student World Spotlight. As you're starting to get familiar with the Student World Spotlight, on the Student World Spotlight, we put on the spotlight an amazing destination or university from some of the world's most desired study destinations. Today, I am very excited for several reasons. First, the university we're bringing today is an amazing university that I believe you're all going to fall in love with, just like I did. Is University of Windsor, located in Canada. And as you probably saw on the promotions we ran for this event, we asked you guys a question. Can you actually be in two places at the same time? Well, when it comes to studying abroad, you're about to find out that it's almost possible, but we'll give you the answer later on. I'm also excited, guys, because today we also going to be approaching some very nice topics. It's almost going to be like a workshop. We're going to be talking about what it means to be a global citizen nowadays, right? What are some of the opportunities that studying abroad can bring to your life? And most importantly, in this day and age, how can you stand out from the crowd and differentiate yourself? So to talk about these amazing and very interesting topics, I have the pleasure of inviting here three amazing guests: Michael Kenniger, Marta Karubi, and Dina White. Please, guys, please welcome our guests for the evening. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? How are you doing, Mike? Thanks for joining us today.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Very, very excited to have you here. Marta, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to talk to everybody, to say hi and to connect in this amazing space. So thank you, Student World, for having us. We have a couple of great informations and experiences to share with you.
It is a pleasure. And Dina, last but not least, thank you so much for joining us today here, representing this amazing university.
Thank you for having me and my colleagues here. And I can see we have a quite diverse crowd here. I'm really excited for today's session.
Yeah, and guys, by the way, don't forget to like this live if you think that the kind of content we're providing you here is useful. If you think that it's not, it's okay to give your dislike. Any kind of feedback that can show that we are in the right way is much appreciated. All right. So don't forget to like our videos. And if you're not following us or the University of Windsor, please go ahead and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, or your preferred social media. All right. So before we move on to our first topic, which is very interesting, what it means to be a global citizen nowadays, why don't you guys briefly just introduce yourselves, and so our audience can have an idea of who you are, where you're coming from. How about we start with you, Mike?
Well, awesome. First of all, I just want to say I'm getting the best energy vibes from watching the chat right now and seeing everyone say what country they're from. It's just awesome. I got my energy got totally up. So keep chatting in there. It's really great for the speakers to be able to see that. So my name is Mike Henniger. I'm coming to you from Vancouver, Canada. So it's a beautiful sunny day here summer day here in Vancouver. So I have an awesome energy, and I'm going to be speaking today especially about how we can really do well in a virtual environment, and connecting here with my colleagues Marta and Dina. So it's a pleasure to meet you guys all virtually, and I look forward to speaking with you today.
Amazing. How about you, Marta?
Well, like I said, like Mike just said, I really feel the energy, guys. It's a dream to be able to work. This is my favorite part. I don't even see it as a job talking to you today, connecting with students from all over the world and working with my colleagues too. It's just an amazing experience. So hi, hi from Honduras.
Hello there. I am so happy, Dina. We have even someone here from Japan. I am super happy to see that this diversity of cultures joining us, as we will be approaching so many nice topics. But go ahead, introduce yourself. Where are you coming from?
Thank you, Carlos. I'm located in Windsor. I'm so glad to be here with my colleagues. I think three of us here represent our diversity. And we hope all the students who are in this chat room, in this forum today, will be all in Windsor one one day, hopefully in September. We'll see you all in there.
Yay. Oh, amazing. Lisa from, I think that is Nigeria, Manta from India, Grady's from Japan, from Peru. Guys, so happy to see you all here. We've been getting such a great engagement on our past lives from the other audience. So I'm hoping that today you can beat all of the past ones and you can super engage with us, send lots of questions, or even it doesn't even need to be questions. It can be like comments where you're thinking about the show so far, right? Ideas for topics that you want us to approach. So feel free to participate, because this is what we like. This is a light way to talk about like opportunities to study overseas, to talk about some amazing universities out there. So please engage with us. All right, cool. All right, Mike. So why don't we kick off talking about what it means actually to be a global citizen nowadays?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's such a big topic, but when we start to think about, like, we're obviously here with the University of Windsor and representing what it's like to study in Canada. And I think a lot of people, when they approach it, they think, okay, I'm going to go to another country. I'm going to study. I need to think about the academics. And of course, the academics are a very important part of this. These are the programs that you will study that will help you get the dream job and the career that you want. But what we're seeing is that more and more grad schools, more and more major companies are looking for things on your resume beyond just your grades, beyond just what you've studied in school. And they find that things like people who are adventurous, people who've traveled, people who've done study abroad, turn out to be the best problem solvers, turn out to be the people that work best in teams and are the best communicators. So we're going to have a chance to talk about our university and talk about the programs and those type of things. But at the beginning, we want to start to talk about, why should you be thinking about a study abroad experience? Why should you go to another country and study? And really, that's the importance of being a global citizen. We all know how connected our world is right now with social media, with the internet, with the travel that we're able to do. And being able to interact with other cultures and having a global perspective can really change your life and make sure that you succeed in this very competitive environment. My colleague Marta, I've had the pleasure of being not just a colleague, but a friend with her for about 10 years. We've traveled around the world. We've met in many different countries, Germany, Canada, US. We've got to meet each other and hang out in these different places. But I think Marta's story is really a story that exemplifies what it's like to be a global citizen. She's a very impressive person for Honduras. I don't want to steal her thunder, but she was like a national level beach volleyball player and all of these wonderful things. But she very much has a global mindset, and it's something that I hope she can share with you to, one, get you excited about doing a study abroad, but also to get you thinking about why you should get an international experience. So Marta, maybe I can pass it to you and tell them a little bit about your story and why you feel it's important to be internationalized and have a global experience.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to talk a little bit about myself, not to be self-conceited, just to portray or send a message to all the students that are joining us from all parts of the world. So I'm actually from Honduras. I was born and raised in Honduras, and I've lived most of my life here, right? So Honduras, for those of you that know or do not know, is one of the poorest countries in the world, right? So to this day, some of my friends, some of the people I know, I don't think they believe how much my life has been different to so many of my colleagues or the people that live in my country. It's just an amazing opportunity to be here and speaking with you. It's a dream job. And I want to talk today about why I think I found this dream job and I worked my way through it, right? So those things that I want to share with you are pertaining exclusively to me being an international person, right? Ever since I can remember, I loved English. I spoke English all the time. I read movies, watched, everything was English for me. So it became like second nature to talk to English. And that gave me an opportunity to start to see life in a different way, right? So my TV shows would be in English, and then I will have these travel shows where they were visiting other parts of the world that I was not familiar with, and it was just amazing. It was mind blown. So I always felt that I had a mindfulness, like a respectfulness to customs, to different cultures. And that helped me since very early on to cultivate friendships from people with different backgrounds. And I think that's just a key thing, because I am able to have friends in different countries that, give me a different perspective in life. So that's main the reason. And I think the University of Windsor, the university in itself, they're a great place to connect to other people from other countries, to learn their customs. I just embedded myself in Canadian culture, and I have tons of Canadian friends. When you go to my Instagram, I have Spanish speaking friends as well, but I have half of my friends from Canada, some from Colombia. I have people in Taiwan, in Africa. Like, it's just as it is. So this part of me has been so important. And then the opportunity that I got to actually study abroad and certificate at an international level just opened an amount of opportunities for me. So I think those two things are key for us to know why it is important today, the world that we're living in. You're not only competing with people from your country, you're competing with people from all over the world. Companies are being more international every day. Intercultural competencies like being mindful, respectful, being kind are so important. And having an international experience like studying in the University of Windsor, studying abroad in Canada, I think it's something that's so important nowadays. So this is mainly the two things that I wanted to portray with you, and the reason why I feel like I have been successful to the point where some people don't understand how I have this type of opportunities, but it's just stemming from this place of being open. I always think of it as, it's not the kilometers in the distance, it's your attitude, right? So if you can cultivate a positive mindset and a positive attitude, and you can get this opportunity by being exposed to different types of people, I think you're going to have a great life experience. You're going to have great friends. You're going to have great business opportunities, because that's it. We are a platform for you to start your life, to start your dreams, pursuing your academic goals, pursuing the opportunity to live in a place like Canada that's, so warm. It's a safe place for all the people. I work mostly with Latin American students and the Caribbean students, and I do understand what the situation in our countries is, right? We have a lot of instability, a lot of things that drive us to push forward. So I think having a place like Canada that opens doors for you, they literally want you there. They're investing, they're making plans, governmental plans. People there are so tolerant of other cultures because it's part of the Canadian culture. They're based on that, right? So you feel this when you're talking to a Canadian person, when you're connecting to a Canadian institution, you're going to feel the difference. And we would love to have people, as we have now 23% of international students. We would love to have even more. So we are opening the doors for you to come and experience this and effectively be able to change your life with different opportunities, a different perspective. So I think mainly that's the most important thing that you can take away from this platform today, from this show where we're connecting. This is me talking about my experiences, what I've seen in other students from other countries, diverse as you can think. So I've seen them thrive, right? I've seen them being successful. And this is what we want you to know. You have this opportunity no matter where you're coming from.
Absolutely. And great points here. And I just want to thank our audience who's been engaging a lot here. Some great points of views on what it means for them to be a global citizen as well. I have a study abroad myself a couple of times, thankfully. And I one time heard something from a friend of mine that I met while studying in London. He said, it's not about where you go, but the people that you meet. Right. So that is so true. And that it's such what you're saying as well. Right. It's such an the richness of this is the people that we interact, the different cultures, and so much learning. I wanted to get your perspective on that as well, Gina.
Thank you, Carlos and Martha. Well, Martha is talking about her experience and what Windsor can offer. It really drives me to think about, and while looking at all the comments from our participants today. And Windsor is a place where we're going to train our students to become a global citizen. We provide you that kind of atmosphere with our culture, with our academic environment. I think Martha, Michael, and myself are the great example to show that we are the global citizens. And you can see a lot of those models and examples on our campus everywhere. And Windsor is the fourth most diverse city in Canada. So that's another layer that we have that kind of culture just in Windsor, rooted in our culture.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. So in the for like Marta, can you share a little bit like who would you like in the connections that you made living in Canada? Was there anyone particular that really had a big impact on your career path or on your life in general?
Well, okay, so I've met a lot of Canadians in my lifetime. I've been to Canada a couple of times. I even dated, I'm not going to say names. Can we talk about that? Or is it too?
I think we can. I think we can.
Well, I'm sharing now, so it's done. So I actually dated a Canadian Olympic athlete. So I've had quite my share of experiences, and professionally, I think I have the opportunity to meet Mike. I think it was 8 years ago, at least. And it was my first time ever going to a city like Vancouver. And when I got to Canada, I was so mind blown. I was like, everybody was so nice. Everything was so polite. You can walk in the streets with your cell phone. You can hop on a bus and go have a drink with your friends. So it was just amazing for me. And then Mike and I became really good friends. And, we worked in several projects together. And, he has presented me to, for example, he introduced me to the ISAF network, where I met a lot of more people from every part of the world. To this day, I don't think, if I were to make like a list, I would hardly say that I haven't met somebody from a certain country, right? So I had that experience. And also being an athlete, I used to, play and go to tournaments. So my experience is very diverse, from like skiing in Whistler with my colleagues to like playing at the beach in Cuba, right? And this is all because I was open to making friends from all over the world, in spite of who they were, where they were coming. I have different types of friends. So I think that's a key thing that we're talking about today.
Absolutely. So now that we're like talking about a lot of it, again, studying abroad allows you to, turn yourself into, becoming like a global citizen, making connections that will last for a long time, that will open doors for your career. It's absolutely. But there are like many other advantages and many other benefits that studying abroad bring you, right? Like, Mike, do you want to like bring up some of the main benefits in your opinion that having an experience abroad or having an experience in Canada can bring to your life?
Yeah, I mean, and there's just so many points, and I just see a lot of it actually coming up in the chat as students, as our audience mentions about the global audience and what it means to be a global citizen. And the word that I keep seeing people say is open. And I think doing a study abroad experience, coming to a place like Canada, opens your mind. You realize that someone from Japan does something different than someone from Brazil or Mexico, but it doesn't mean the Japanese way is right and the Brazilian way is wrong. There's strengths of every culture, and when you have an experience like that, you really get to learn the best of everyone's culture and put that together and make a better version of yourself. I mean, I also mentioned a little bit when I was speaking before of how companies and schools are looking more and more for people who have the ability to problem solve, the ability to communicate, and the ability to interact well with a very diverse audience. I mean, there's not many places now where you won't have some interaction with people from outside of your country, like any type of a business environment, tourism environment, science environment, now naturally is international by nature. And a study abroad experience really helps in all of those type of things. You know, I think one of the things that really we focus on at the University of Windsor that's so important to a study abroad experience is not just having academic studies, but also getting real life work experience. The co-op program, where you get an ability to work during the program that you study at Windsor, is one of the best that there is in Canada. And I always, when people recommend family, friends, or you know, close contacts, and I say, what should I look for when I'm doing a study abroad experience? Do you have the ability to get work experience there? Are you able to practice the skills that you're learning in class and develop your resume? So a study abroad experience not only allows you to focus on the academics, but you can get a job and also be able to practice those skills. Canada has a huge advantage that international students that come to Canada are able to work part-time and are able to pursue a co-op and are able to stay on after graduation and work within the country. So you're building your network, you're getting the academic background that you need, you're building your resume, and then you're also proving yourself to be, as I said, a problem solver, adventuresome, a good communicator, just by showing a potential employer that you are ready to take that big leap forward and move to another country and study. And I think sometimes that's overlooked when we talk about what's the advantages of going to a place like Canada and studying, but it shouldn't be, because it's very, very important. So I don't know, maybe my colleagues Marta or Dina have something to add to that thread?
I want to add one thing, that when Michael was talking about the work experience, I think I couldn't agree more, because Canada is a country where the employers are looking for Canadian academic and work experience. As a newcomer, no matter immigrants or international student, how do you gain those experience? The best way is when you were a student. And then you can work on campus, off campus, and Canada has the best immigration policy right now. As an international student, you can work on campus for 24 hours per week. In addition to that, you can work another 20 hours a week as a full-time student. And also on once you graduate, you will be eligible for a 3-year work permit, apply for immigration. So there are lots of ways to Canadian, as a government, as a country, and also University of Windsor, to help you to get the experience and get your Canadian dream fulfilled. I saw lots of comments, they love Canada, and we want you guys to be here and then bring your culture, your experience here. And we do, as Michael said, and Martha mentioned, that we do have great co-op program. We have great, lots of opportunity on campus. Student will be able to gain the Canadian experience right there on campus.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Just before I bring your insights on this, Marta, just want to say that I usually hear at the student world, I every time we're talking about like studying abroad, and it's such a 24/7 learning experience, because again, as building on what Michael was saying before, that you develop this mindset of problem solving, which is like gold for the companies nowadays. And you do this without even noticing that you're doing, because this happens on the daily basis. When you arrive at the airport and you can't figure out how to get from the airport to your apartment, or to the housing that you'd be staying, or when you have an issue with the accommodation, or any kind of those things that you will have to deal with on the daily basis, that will, or little by little, help you build this problem-solving mindset that then will open tons of doors in your career, right? Marta, would love to hear your insight on this one as well.
Yeah, so what happens when we have a new experience is that the neurotransmitters in our brain make new connections, right? So when you're making new connections, you develop certain level of skills, you expand your consciousness, and you become better at things like you were mentioning right now, like problem solving, right? So for example, at the University of Windsor, we have around 120 different programs at the bachelor or undergraduate level for you to choose from. You can combine different majors, you can combine a major and a minor. So we have different opportunities for you to study in a broad range of subjects. We have things like a bachelor in neuroscience, for example, now that we're talking about specifically that. We have bachelors in psychology. If you want to study business, we have business administration, and then you can emphasize in marketing, for example. We have an engineering faculty, which is top at the top in Canada. We have Ed Lumley Innovation Center for Engineers that we invested more than $100 million to construct with 800 different research labs. So our whole mindset, our whole perspective as a university is that we are an international university. We're globally connected. So we are going to be able to give you this experience while you study with the best professors in engineering in Canada, right? So, and we're also going to give you, like Michael just mentioned, the opportunity to get that experience. So to solidify your knowledge into an actual work experience that's going to help you with your resume, that's going to help you with your career, and just give you all the tools that you're going to need to complete that goal that you just initiated for yourself. So I think those are really key things to know. And how we are globally connected, it means that basically, for example, you can do a broad semester. So you're studying in Canada, but you can also go to Italy. You can go to Asia, you can go to Europe. So you can have that also additional experience of other cultures while you're studying in a classroom with 10, 15 different nationalities. So that's exactly what we're talking about. And this is why the University of Windsor is such a great place to study.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm loving the kind of message. I'm not sure if you guys are taking a look here at the chat as well, but I've been always like, going back and forth here. We have like some people super excited. And guys, let me tell you one thing. What we're going to do today is we're going to turn this dream that some of you are mentioning here, like Felix and some other folks here, we're going to turn that into a plan, into an achievable plan. All right. We're going to turn dreams into goals here today. We're going to, in a bit, we're going to start talking about like how you can apply to study in Canada at the University of Windsor. So let's wait and let's turn that dream into a real achievable goal. Right, Dina?
Yeah, and Carlos, I'll make one comment here. I've been just following it. It's impossible to take my eyes off the chat because I just love the energy and I love the questions that are coming in. I just want everyone to know there's such a variety of questions coming on about scholarships and about different programs. It's difficult for us to address each one of those questions as we speak, but we are going to provide at the end some forums for you to be able to come and access someone from the institution, whether it's us or another one of our colleagues through our coming open days, and also making sure that you have the contact information, because we would like to spend time with each one of you individually to make sure that you're getting the answers to the questions and the support that you need to make this decision that we're talking about today.
Yeah, absolutely. Ritan Carr, Pal, am I saying your name correctly? Would love to see you doing your master's there. You can send a picture with Dina and everybody here to the Student World. We'd love to post it and say, guys, I met them at the Student World Live. That would be amazing, right? But yeah, Michael, what do you say now we move on to the next to the next subject, which is there's a lot of funny stuff, guys, coming up. I'm really excited. But Mike, I'm going to hand it to you and let you take it from here.
Yeah, so let's switch gears a little bit here. And when we were planning on what we would talk about in this session today, we wanted to kind of, the whole virtual thing, and we're on this awesome platform right now, and it feels like we're having a really good connection with people all around the world through this platform. We're literally in countries everywhere, and we're connecting. But we know what we've seen is that, the whole transition to online learning and studying on Zoom, doing meetings on Zoom, has been difficult for people. I think we all have fatigue. We miss, those of us that are in lockdown still, we miss this human interaction. And, for me, I've always been someone that's been a real like outgoing person. I love meeting people. I love networking. I found that's always been my advantage. I can make friends with anyone and I love to do that. So when the whole virtual thing came, it was more difficult to differentiate myself and to stand out and to make those connections. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And so the lessons, there's been some lessons that we've learned about how to be more effective in Zoom, how to do meetings better, how to do presentations better at school. And I'm going to talk about some of those things. But there's been some really funny incidences around the way. We've all seen the memes of people doing funny things in their Teams or Zoom meeting or online. So I thought we'd start by having a laugh. And I'm going to show you a video here of just an incident that happened in the US. That's a great example of what can go bad in the virtual environment. So maybe let's take a look at the cat video now, because everyone loves cats.
Mr. Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to, can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that. I think if you click the up arrow next to the
So I'm not a cat. So I'll explain the video a little bit. That was like an official court proceedings in the US. And one of the lawyer came in, and for some reason he had a filter on in his video that made him look like a cat. So he's speaking to the judge in a court as a cat. So he had to say, I'm not a cat. So I thought that'd be funny to start off with, just like a little bit of a laugh to see what can go wrong. But I want to speak to you a little bit about how we can be better in the online environment. And a lot of it, you know, whether it's in business or in the classroom, a lot of what we do to make ourselves successful is the perception other people have of us. How do we run a meeting? How do we give a presentation in our university class? In my work, I get to see a lot of people speak on the online environment, and a lot of people do things that do not have a big advantage to them, and they actually are poor speakers and they're not differentiating themselves online. So I want to talk about some of the lessons that we've learned over the past year with teaching people at the University of Windsor at a very high level online, as well as all the business meetings that I've done over the past year in the virtual environment to hopefully give you guys some tips to be more successful at school or in your professional life and how you conduct yourself online. So first of all, I think one of the important things is, how do we stand out? How do we make it different from everyone else? So many of the meetings that I do is I see people, they turn off their cameras, or they just sit back and they're looking around. They're not interested. If you look at everyone, you know, Carlos, Marta, Dina, and I on this thing, we're all really engaged. We're looking at the camera. We're using gestures. You know, Carlos is smiling consistently. Marta's smiling. Look at Dina smiling. We're engaging you with how our mannerisms and how we look. As I speak now, I'm making direct eye contact with the camera. I'm using gestures to emphasize my point, and I'm coming in a kind of a high energy environment. These things are very, very important, guys. Whether it's with your teacher or during an interview, this low energy thing can really, really be detrimental to you know, how you're perceived. The other thing that I want to talk about is vampires, and I love it in public speaking or being even in a virtual setting. There's something called a vampire. We're all really familiar with vampires. They're the things that come along and suck the blood out of us, right? But vampires, when you're doing a meeting or you're doing a presentation online, is something different. A vampire is anything that takes attention away from you or what you're saying. So a real classic example of a vampire is this. When people are speaking or they're talking and they're doing something like this, they have a pen in their hand, or maybe they have some paper in their hand when they're speaking and they're going like this and they're talking. Is it easy to pay attention to me right now when I'm doing that? I think it's not. So a vampire is anything that takes away from attention from your face and what you're saying. So on a virtual meeting, put the pen down. Put the paper down. Look at the people that you're meeting with. Make eye contact with them and let them know that they have your attention. This is one very important thing that people don't do well in the virtual environment. They think because they're not in the same room, it's okay to sit like this, you know, They're scratching their heads like that. It just, you do not present yourself well. So take your opportunity when you're presenting or when you're in a meeting online to be very, very focused and to get the audience to interact with you. The other thing that is very, very effective is involving people in, using names, getting other people involved. You notice when I was speaking, I mentioned Carlos's name, I mentioned Martha's name, I talked about Dina. You know, we've been involving, you know, I see Lesukra from Japan has been very active on the chat. Thank you for that. I used to live in Japan. Involving people and talking and bringing these things in. And it's not a vampire, it's a vampire, the one that bites your throat. You know, involving people, asking questions. Often people think the person that's best in a meeting online is the one that's talking the most. And that's not the case. People really value empathy. They value when we help other people. They value when we get other people involved. So if you see someone in your class or in your group is maybe quiet in the presentation, or you're giving a presentation and someone's quiet, you could ask them, Carlos, are you following along? Do you agree with what I'm saying there? I can involve Carlos in my conversation. It gets everyone's attention. It shows that I'm involving other people, and people will respond very well of that. The other thing is the physical environment that we work in. You know, I've seen some crazy Zoom backgrounds in meeting. I did a meeting a couple weeks ago, and the person had a background of like a rainforest with a tiger coming out of the rainforest behind the person in the meeting. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? The tiger was so distracting. It had nothing to do with their school. It had nothing to do with their business. It was just distracting. It's like another vampire that was taking away their attention. So we really only have one chance sometimes to make these impressions in a virtual environment or with your teacher. You know, another thing that I'm hearing about people that have been studying online, and some of you, as you transition to Canada and you study at the University of Windsor, part of some of your classes might be hybrid, where you're taking some classes online. If you're studying at home and you're in your bedroom, the bed's right there, your TV's right there, your Xbox right there, are you going to be paying attention to your teacher, or are you going to be playing Fortnite? You know, you really have to think about planning and creating an environment that you can learn in, that you can really focus on. So we've been hearing about people, students have been sharing their stories with us at the University of Windsor that have actually made like makeshift office or classrooms in their homes, as simple as hanging sheets in their room to put a divider in their room to take away the distractions of the TV, of the Xbox, of the PlayStation 4, all of those type of things, so that they can really focus on what they're studying. So I want to encourage you to think about that as you move into online, and when you're doing this, what is your physical environment like? Is it helping you achieve the goals that you want to be? Studying abroad, studying online, all of these things, it's no different. Focus is everything. And if you're super focused on what you're doing, you're much likely to be more successful. So think about that. The other thing too is that I want us to talk about is when we're giving our presentations or we're doing meetings, I think one of the most important things is to be remembered. And you know, we talk so much, but people have the ability to only remember a very little of what we say. So how do we find ways to talk about things that people will remember? And I want to give you some suggestions and strategies of how we can stand out and have the things that we're saying remembered when we speak. And there's a few things. One is using examples. Examples and context always helps. Now, I've traveled all around the world. I've been very lucky in my life. I've been coming up, I've been seeing the countries that you've been putting in the chat, and Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Japan, many of these countries, Mexico that you put there. I've had the luck to travel. The one I haven't got to visit yet that I saw that came up that's on my list is Peru. I've always wanted to travel to Peru and I've never been there. So our friend that was on this call from Peru, I'm going to come to visit you here in the next couple of years. But I've asked this question that I'm going to ask to people from all around the world. And Carlos, maybe I'm going to ask this to you. We haven't rehearsed this, so I'm going to put you on the spot. But it's a great example. Mothers are so clever. Mothers from every country are wise. We all know that our mothers are the wisest people in our lives. And when a little child loses something, for example, the shoe. When you were a little Carlos and you lost your shoe, and you went to your mom and you said, "Mom, I've lost my shoe." What did your mom say to you to help you remember?
When was the last time you remember using it?
Nailed it. And we didn't rehearse this, and that was perfectly the answer I was looking at. What was the last time you remembered having it? So you start to think back. Oh, I came in the house. I took off my shoe. I had it in my, oh, the phone rang. I went and answered the phone in the kitchen. My shoe's in the kitchen. Mothers have made this in every country. I've done it in Africa. I've done it in Asia. I've done it in Latin America. The answer is always the same. Doesn't matter what the culture is. People say the same thing. Their mothers give that example. So why do mothers do this, and why does it work? Our brains crave context. When we just give people facts, it's very, very hard to remember. But when we create a story around what we're talking about, and this is very important, I said, for presentations, or if you're selling something, or you're trying to convince one of your classmates of something, how do you create context around what you want people to remember? And these are things called signposts. And I'm going to share a story, a really quick story with you. I went and visited my hometown recently. My hometown is a really small place, and this is true. When I grew up, there was no stops, or there was no traffic lights in my hometown. There was only about 2,000 people that lived there. Very, very countryside in Canada. So I went back recently and I visited my old home where I grew up as a little child. And I was sitting looking in front of my house, and I was having all of these memories come back of what it was like to live in that place many, many years ago. Then I remembered that I used to walk to my elementary school every day behind my house, and I'd play with my friends and we'd walk. I had really good memories. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do the same walk. I want to go see the school. So I walked behind the house and I stopped. What used to be a really clear path that you could follow to the school was now just grass, bushes, trees. There was no path anymore. So I was going to give up, and I thought, no, I'm going to do this. So I started looking. And then I remembered from my childhood that there was a really big tree. And we made a swing, a tire swing on that tree, where me and my friends used to swing on the tree. And I saw the same tree, so I walked by the tree. Then I remember that there was a little river that ran through, and we used to walk by the river. The river was still there. So I started walking up the river. Then I remember that there was a big rock. And with that rock, there was like a little log that we used to cross over by the rock. I looked, I could see the big rock there. The log was gone, but I was able to jump over the river and find my way. I remember then I used to walk next to like a ledge, like a cliff, and I'd walk, and there was my school. So I walked around, and bang, there was my school. So if you reflect on what I just told you about how I remembered of where to find my school, I looked at the tree, I looked at the rock, I looked at the river, I looked at the cliff. All of these things are called memory signposts, guys. These are things that help us remember. It's the same thing as the mother asking, where were you? What do you remember when you had it last? It's the same thing. I can remember those key points when I couldn't find the path. I would say, guys, in a virtual environment where you're giving a presentation in your class, that these signposts are ways that you can make yourself remembered and stand out from other people. So in terms of what we're doing, examples. I didn't just tell you, oh, you should create signposts. I made up a story that exemplified the signposts that you would remember. Create those stories, create those examples. The next thing that you can do to make very effective signposts in your meetings or in your presentations online is using personal examples. Talk about people, talk about places, talk about real things. Don't just use abstract, use real things. So, when we started this thing, I didn't just want to talk about being a global citizen. It's way better to hear Martha's personal story of being a global citizen. You're going to remember that. Martha's our signpost for becoming a global citizen. Martha's smile and great personality are our signposts. So those are things that you need to do. Other things that are very good are things like humor. Telling jokes. Of course, you need to be professional for this, and you need to have a plan and make sure that you do this effectively. But all of those things are things as signposts that help you stand out. So to recap, when you're on this digital platform, sometime a person that's going to be in your meeting, or a person that's watching you, whether it's a presentation or an online meeting, or if you're public speaking in a real place, you never know if there's that one person in the audience that could maybe be the person that's going to give you the job, that's going to change your life for the better. We have to take advantage of every opportunity that we have to be our personal best. And so doing the things and some of the tips that I've said today, preparing your environment, preparing yourself mentally, showing that you're focused, showing that you're paying attention, involving others, using examples, using stories, all of those type of things are going to help you differentiate yourself from the crowd in the virtual environment. So the last thing I'm going to do, I hope it doesn't ruin what I just said, but you know what? Do you think that I really walk to school every day? Do you think that I was able to walk to my elementary school in the rural environment that I did? I'd love to hear you think if you think that story was real or not in the chat. Do you think, yes, I walked to school, or no, I made that up? What do you think? I want to see someone type that in the chat.
Come on, guys, put it there. Was it real or fake? Fake news or not?
I think, Mike, you already got some fans there, and both Martha and you are having some fans. I saw the comments saying like, I want to meet you guys. I want to meet you guys. Guys, if you want to meet our colleagues, Michael and Martha, come to Windsor. You're going to meet them.
Yep.
So Joyce thinks I walked to school. Alexander thinks I walked to Stua. Sonia said fake news. Joseph thinks it was made up. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys. I made that story up. I took the bus to school every day because to walk to school would have taken me 45 minutes or an hour each way easily. So I made that story up to exemplify the point that I was trying to make. And I'm not advocating that you lie to people, but what I'm telling you is that you can make examples, you can make situations that really help you stand up. So sorry, that was a fake thing. That was just some of my tips about speaking in front of people, about differentiating yourself in an online environment. I hope those are some of the things that you guys can use when you're giving your next presentation at school or you're doing your next job interview. I hope you remember some of these points that I've taken. And I hope when you come to the University of Windsor, you come to study in Canada, that's able to help you be even more successful. So those are the stories that of how we can do things better. Now, let's end with this. We started by showing the cat video, and we started by showing how the online environment can go bad. Let's end with another funny clip to see what can happen bad in a Zoom meeting. So please, if we could play that clip to finish off this section.
Goodbye. All right. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
See you guys.
Tony!
Can you hear us?
Tony!
Oh no! Don't, Jen, call him. Oh my gosh! Hold on, I'm gonna text a couple pictures of that. Oh. Oh. Oh boy.
What's up?
Tony, I can see you when you're
We can all see you.
So
Johnny.
Don't be Johnny. Don't be Johnny. So I hope that left you guys with some good tips, and you guys could have a laugh or two and have some key takeaways that will help you benefit in your study abroad experience. So thank you for the time on that, Carlos.
Amazing, Mike. Amazing. I learned a lot myself. I see many of the folks here saying, I learned already so much. Yeah, guys, me too. I have to say, I'm thinking here, what the hell can I study to go just as an excuse to go to University of Windsor? Because it's really nice tips. But okay, so unfortunately we have 11 minutes only, so we need to hurry this up. But the good news is, Dina will share the good news that there will be an opportunity to talk to Dina and to have all the questions answered about studying in the University of Windsor coming up. Is that true, Dina?
Yes, we're going to have our International Open Day on June 4th. And in the morning, from 8:30 to 11:30 Eastern time, that's Toronto time. And that will be around like afternoon in Middle East, Africa, Europe, and it will be early in the morning in Latin America, will be evening in South Asia or Asia. And we're hoping that we will be able to see you there. And I know how much you guys love Michael and Martha, and they're going to be there for you guys.
Oh, no, but can you tell, like, what is an international open day? Because it might not be familiar for everybody here.
Yeah, very true. So it is an opportunity for us to showcase about our program and services. A lot of students said, I want to study in Canada. Can I do my master's degree? Do you have a diploma program? Can I do that right after high school? The answer are yes. But I'm pretty sure you will have a lot of detailed questions, and that's why we're there to answer your questions. And also, a lot of students are worried about the quarantine, the visa. We will have our immigration advisors who guide you guys through this process. And also, if you guys are ready to apply, we also have our admission teams there. They're going to do on-the-spot assessment. They will look at your documents and they will help you to guide you through the application process, let you know whether you're eligible for engineering, business, or we have a virtual arts or a philosophy program for you. So, and also there are games and prizes for you if you're going to join us on that day.
Yay, amazing. All right, guys. So yeah, we put the link here. Our team, super efficient team, put the link on the chat already, so you can find it there. The comment from the student world. I'm gonna keep asking our team to keep putting from time to time there until the end of the live. All right.
And Carlos, just one quick point there. I've been watching this, and at the open house, you're going to have a chance to do a campus tour to see what the campus looks like. You'll have a chance to meet with Dina, Martha, myself, and the team to ask the questions. You'll have a chance to learn about the scholarship opportunities. You'll have a chance to go to any of the booths and speak specifically to people who are engineering, science, all of those things Dina talked about. So I see scholarships are a huge interest to you. That's where you come to learn about the programs of scholarships, how to admit it, how to apply. We can recommend an agent for you in your country if you need help doing that. So basically A to Z will cover it in the open days. Everything you need to know will be covered there.
Amazing, amazing. But
sorry, Carlos, can you just briefly add to that? Just to quickly answer your questions, we would love to connect more with you on the International Open Day. So please come along, visit. It's going to be fun. You're going to get to ask all the questions that you have. The University of Windsor gives out around $10 million of scholarships to students. So as international students, you'll get to access those funds, those awards. So please get more information on the International Open Day. We would love to have you. We have 120 different major options in business, human kinetics, science, engineering, humanities, social arts. So we have plenty of programs for you. We have 70 different types of masters, PhD, so you can learn more about the specifics and the information to apply for each program at the International Open Day. So please join us.
And I just want to say, Dina, that you are growing your fan base too, not just Mike and Marta, because I see here many people say, love you too. This is going to be a trending hashtag, guys. Love you too, Dina. But here's what we can do, because we still have 7 minutes, and I want to use every single second of this session here. So, guys, we will take some questions. So, please, if you want to ask some questions, but again, you will have the opportunity to talk to them in a more like they have all the chance to meet with them, to ask your question on the open day, on the open house day. But today we're gonna use this final 6 minutes to get some questions. So shoot your questions here. But before we go to the questions, well, while the questions are coming, I want to address one question, Marta, because on the email that we promoted this, and at the beginning of this session, I raised this. I said, can you actually be in 2 places at the same time? And I would like you to answer. If students decide to go to University of Windsor, will they be able to be in 2 places, or I would say 2 countries at the same time?
Yes, literally. When you travel to University of Windsor, you're gonna live in a city like Windsor. So one of the things that Windsor is known for is that we have one of the most important cross-boarding between two nations, that is the US and Canada. So literally our students are in Canada in the morning, and then they can go and watch a game, catch a concert to the next door, which is 5 minutes away, Detroit, Michigan. And they get to explore all other North American cities from that point of Windsor. So you basically have the best of both worlds. While Windsor is not a humongous big city like Toronto, it says 217,000 people live in Windsor. It's a mid-size, but you get all the big cities amenities. You get an excellent food culture festivals. You get an amazing campus. We have riverfront trails. We're surrounded by 5 Great Lakes. The climate is one of the best in Canada. So we have the same climate as the northern part of California or as the city of Rome. So if you've ever been to those places, that's exactly what you get at Windsor. So we have so many things to offer, not only as the University of Windsor, but in the city in itself. So yes, to answer your question, Carlos, you can actually be in 2 places on the same day and brag about it to your friends because you'll have that possibility.
Yay. All right, so why don't we do like a lightning round so we're able to get some quick questions that are coming up? Is that okay? Maybe I can address to you, Dina, this one. So lightning round,
Sure.
quick answers. All right. So
Yeah, sounds
first
good.
one, does the university have a master's degree in psychology?
Yes, we do. And it's a
Cool.
really good one.
Does the university have architecture programs?
Architecture, we do, but that is a program we don't really accept international student unless you're American citizenship, because it's a joint program with an American university. Yeah.
Cool. Are there, where was it? There are a master degree on wildlife specialty. Ooh, this isn't a specific one.
We're very famous in our science program, environmental, wildlife, water, fishery, everything. Yes.
Okay, heard that. And next one, does the university offer medical programs as well?
We do, but it's also a joint program. It's through the Western, another great university in Canada. So actually we do, yeah.
Yeah, and
Cool.
the medical school answer really quickly too is that usually people come over to say a bachelor's degree in science, biology, chemistry, and then transfer into a medical school after that. So general sciences is the path to go, and we have that.
Amazing. Next one, do I need an agent to apply?
No, you don't. You can do it on your own. We have our teams here. Martha is here. Michael is here. I'm here. We're here to help you. But if you prefer to use an agent, feel free to do that as well.
Amazing. Next one from someone that engaged so much with us today, Le Suk from Japan. She's like, what's the ratio of international students with local students and international in the university?
The ratio. So we have about less than 20% student body are international from like 100 countries all over the world. Very diverse student population, but not like an all international student. So you get a great balance between domestic students and international students, and also American students because we're right next to it.
Yay. Next one, are there like a proficiency level requirements? Like, do they need to take the IELTS and provide IELTS or TOEFL at some levels?
Yeah, so IELTS usually is 6.5 for our undergraduate programs, and most of the master and PhD programs are IELTS 7. A few of science-based, engineering-based, 6.5 will be acceptable.
Cool. And last but not least, guys, there are so many questions here. I'm so sorry I'm not going to be able to address all of them. But again, there will be the International Open Day for you to talk to Mike, to Marta, to Dina, and everybody else. So final question. Let me see. Who do I pick here? Let's go with Manish. Is there a master in data science?
Yes, we have master in computer science. We have a master of management in business data analytics. So those are great programs for you to choose from. Lots of opportunities after you graduate or even before you graduate.
Amazing. Guys, so sorry. There are so many questions, but unfortunately our time is up. But I have to say, I had an amazing time here. I want to thank Marta for being here with us. I want to thank Mike for everything that I've learned with you, Mike, today. And I want to thank Dina for showing us more about this amazing university. Guys, I'm going to now give you like a time to, say your final words. And again, thank you so much for having joined and accepting our invitation here at the Student World.
Just thanks for the opportunity, and thanks for all your positive energy in the chat. Like I said, this was fun. I smiled the whole way through, and I saw Marta and Dina as well. So this was really, really enjoyable. We look forward to welcoming you to the open day as well, where we can answer all of the questions that you maybe didn't get here the answer to today. So this is not the end of our connection. This is just the beginning of it. Look forward to talking with you in the near future.
Well, I also want to thank everybody for joining us today, for taking the time to listen to what we have to share, for connecting with us. We would love to have you at the university. It is a great place to study with an amazing city, amazing programs, faculty, a support team like the one you're seeing right now. This is how everybody in the university is going to treat you. We love our students and we really take good care of them. So we are looking forward to connecting more in the future.
Yeah, and I think the same thing. I'm really overwhelmed by how warm and how positive you guys are. And if you like Michael and Martha and myself, and I want to guarantee that this experience is not just staying through this webinar. This is what you will experience on our campus with our staff and faculties there.
Amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Again, it was a pleasure having you here. All right.
Thank you, Carlos.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
And that's it, guys. How did you like today's live? It was so exciting. I was excited. The best thing was that even I got to learn so many things today. It was a really, really nice touch to bring this almost like a workshop atmosphere, like so many things. There was the fun element of the videos. Like seriously, it was really nice. And again, I have to say that you bit all the other audiences because you were definitely the most engaged audience we had so far in our lives. Amazing. Everybody coming from Japan, Nigeria, Peru, everybody everywhere in the world. By the way, for those of you in Asia and Middle East and so on, what time is it right now for you guys? I mean, it's if now in Europe is 10 p.m., what time is for you guys? So thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed. And again, we'll be back here next Tuesday, same time. So if you're not following the Student World yet on Instagram, you can click to follow us there. We're constantly posting everything related to study abroad, opportunities, tips, news, everything. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe it to check out all the other lives that we'll be hosting. All right. Again, my name is Carlos Ranchetti. Thank you so much for making this such an amazing opportunity. I'll see you next time. The Student World, whatever you want to study, we know how to get you there.